Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 60 of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
There we go. He's still alive. That's good to know.
It's not going too far.
Well, yeah, true. Let's not push any limits here. So, we have an interesting episode this week. There wasn't too much news, but on a weird case, me and Will actually have our own little topic to discuss as well. About a game we played earlier in the week that finally gave us some faith in VR and co-op. Like bloody hell. So, first off, we'll start probably by discussing that. I think it's quite an interesting topic to dive into. Then we'll be moving on to some topics regarding AI, one being about a game developers conference and another about Microsoft pursuing AI talent to transform the gaming sphere. After that, as we all know, we've had the Skyrim grandma, we've had the old guy recently who's the spot on sniper. Now we've also apparently got someone called Grumpy Gran, who's a 75-year-old Scottish grandma who's been playing Fortnite for 6 hours a day and has apparently been hooked on it.
Jesus Christ.
After that, we'll be discussing retro games, which I didn't think we'd be discussing for a little while. But apparently they've now become bigger than they ever were. And their arguments for games being physical has returned. And finally, we will end it off with discussing Dragon's Dogma 2 and the issues that has had since release. But yeah.
Just like many other games recently have had.
Way too true. Don't remind me, Will. Don't remind me. But anyways, let's dive into this, shall we? I'll get everything ready, and yeah, we'll discuss our game first, I think. Sounds like a good plan. Because, let's be honest, we so need to stream that at some point.
Yes, Rory made quite the mistake of not recording it.
It's... The game we're discussing here is Climbey. It's a VR game that's been out for quite a few years at this point. And it just reinforces the point, in my opinion. Oh, actually, it came out in 2022.
Just over 2 years.
That's a surprise. I could have swore it was an older game. Yeah, because people were posting back in 2016. So the full release must have been 2022.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. But it's a game that kind of reinforces the old, thought that as long as you nail the base mechanics of what that game is supposed to do, you can make a fantastic product. I mean, this game cost us, it were on sale, so it was like a fiver, £5.50. Its usual price is £6.69. And you know what?
Not even sure if it was a fiver myth.
I know. I don't even recall, But it was probably one of the most enjoyable experiences we've had in VR for a while. Since after the fall, I'd say.
Pre-update bear mind for when we enjoyed after the fall, or whatever update that was anyway.
The PlayStation update, when they brought PSVR 2 in, they for some reason butchered it. Still not sure how. But it was such a simplistic thing at first. It was a case of, oh right, so what you need to do is climb. Oh, okay. You start off, you climb a little wall in front of you, you hit your flag, done, problem solved. Next level, learn to properly jump in the game, okay? Third level, bit more of the same, but with moving platforms. Cool. Fourth level, about the same. Fifth level, yeah, here's an entire location. Have fun, try not to die, you're probably going to suffer. Bye.
In which case, we spent 15 minutes on every level, including that one. After that, just continuously flinging ourselves, not actually trying to properly complete the level, just flinging.
Yeah, and
soaring through the skies,
honestly, the weird part about the game was at the beginning it was very touch and go to the point that Will was very close to refunding it
Yeah.
because the control scheme for some reason duplicates the turn function
Both the turning
on
and the moving
on both
on both your
controllers.
analog sticks.
So as you go to move to the right, you're also going to be moving the camera to that direction, which is horrific. So we had to go into Steam and actually manually edit that. Once that was done, the game is
Thankfully, that was an
absolutely
option then.
amazing. Yeah, thankfully we can do that. Some
And
games
thankfully, we
lately,
did do that, so we were actually able to enjoy it.
yeah, some games lately have been more of a case of you don't really have much choice. I mean, if you look at the new Arizona Sunshine 2, that one didn't have much of a choice for us, so we were a bit stumped for a lot of the comfort options, shall we say. So there's quite a few things in that we wish could happen but didn't. But we
And
kept
that's the
setting.
level you can throw yourself on.
Yeah. Oh, that's that level. We had to climb up here and then kind of like fucking climb up and launch yourself across. The bits though where you're climbing up top of something, turning round as you're doing it. It's so much good fun. But there's only 15 levels base. So after you've done those 15 levels, the base ones, you then have to go into the workshop.
I mean,
At
we did
which
complete
point,
them all.
yeah, apart from the
Technically speaking, I
technically,
completed the last one.
yeah,
I
I got
standing at the
right to the
top waiting
top
on you.
and fucked it up. But the big thing is the fact that there's so many levels, and we can literally just go, oh, cool, right, what is there? Where do we go? And what I'm thinking about doing at some point is just running like a live stream and just launching yourselves about.
I'm wondering if you download the workshop level, do I also need to get it, or will it automatically do it?
That's a very good question. I like the look of this.
That looks absurd.
Exactly.
That's
They're
why we,
apparent,
we need like just a crazy level.
yeah, something
I
like
wonder if
this
there's
is
like
what we need.
adventure map levels.
It'd be interesting. But yeah, things like this are what really push what that game is
Oh
capable
god,
of.
Rory.
What?
There's a Super Meat Boy level.
Oh god. Levels 1 to 10 is that? That there's
No
no
screenshots.
pictures. Oh dear. But there's just so much to it, more than you
It's
originally think. Because at the start it's just climbing and throwing yourself, and you're like, oh okay. Then it's moving platforms, and you're like, yeah, this is probably the extent of what we're gonna have. Then all of a sudden, here's ice.
yes, the ice was so much fun.
You just sort of
That
like,
ice level, by
what?
the way, just looks like you have to speed yourself up to an absurd amount because it's
Yeah.
even got barriers for you.
And basically, you're just speeding yourself up, and then at the end, it typically has like a little bit of a ramp, and you just launch yourself and get flung for miles. It's
Can we get like?
fantastic.
I wonder if there's race levels made where like it's just ice where you can't fall off it because it's like got barriers. You just have to race around the fucking map.
It'd be bloody great fun. Big tower. I'm going to install a couple as we go through this, just to basically talk as we're talking about it. But
Structure hard.
where's that?
Bottom left.
Oh yeah. Okay, why not?
Nope.
But
In it goes.
yeah, the thing about it was as well, after they added ice, we thought, alright, this is probably all we're going to get. There's probably not going to be much more. Then we come across trampolines. And we're like, what?
Roy was not having a good time with the trampolines.
No, I've somehow managed to bounce myself backwards.
Multiple
Still no
times, too.
Yeah. It was consecutive times. I just couldn't figure that out. But, once again, I feel like games like this just reinforce the idea you don't need to make something extremely complicated and difficult that doesn't make much sense. You just need to make something that works. Something that absolutely nails the base mechanics of it, and from there, you can have fun. You don't have to worry.
Orphanage escape.
Of course, I'm downloading that. Well, what did you think, though, Will? Your first opinions of it? Because obviously I'd seen stuff before about it. This was your first time, like, playing and
Once we
everything.
sorted out the controllers and actually got into it, we're throwing ourselves around. I had great fun. It was literally the most simple thing ever, and yeah, I could not stop laughing because we were just sitting there fleeing ourselves around like a pair of idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember you called me afterwards on call because we'd been launching ourselves around for 2 hours straight. We were sweating, our arms were in pain because you have to like grab in the air and then just launch your arms down.
Man, I may as well just stood windmilling my arms for 2 hours straight. You know me as
Oh,
well. When I play VR, I don't take it easy, man.
oh no, you don't
I
half-ass
go
it.
I go all out of it.
Oh yeah, but that was the thing. It was just such a large difference to what we've played in like recent months. There's been so much out there, and you just sort of look at it lately and you're like, what the fuck's the point?
It
Like,
just goes to show you
seriously.
don't need to make complicated levels with complicated mechanics and a complicated storyline
Yeah,
to make a good game. You literally just have to go. Here's the surface you can grip. Here's how you throw yourself. Go nuts, have fun.
yeah. You do that, you can make a fantastic game. It's all about player enjoyment. You nail that part, you can do quite well in game development. Just make sure that you're actually building for the consumer. That's what it's about. Just yeah, if you've got VR and you really want to have a good laugh and you've got a friend, get this. 100% get this because I don't think we've had a laugh like that in quite a long time. And I'm looking forward to picking it up at some point, probably doing a stream and just taking the piss and answering a few questions. I think that's probably going to be the plan.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah. Anyways, we will move on
We
to
leave that
the.
for a weekend though, so I have
Oh,
time to
yeah.
rest for work.
100%. So, layoffs and AI sour annual game developers conference. The vibe is rancid because it's all about the vibe. GDC 2024 catered to the frustrated and those out of work with cheaper tickets and a group screaming session. Sounds fun. In San Francisco, that explains everything. Despite the sunny spring skies in San Francisco this week, the mood among nearly 30,000 video game industry professionals was gloomy as they descended upon the city for the yearly Games Developers Conference. Some were so frustrated with the state of affairs in their business that they organised a group screaming session in the park.
What?
Those of us who have a job and can afford to be here are going through the motions and trying to have a good time, said Max Molina, a game developer attending the event from Spain. But the vibe is rancid in the industry right now. The gaming industry saw more than 10,000 workers laid off in 2023, up from 8,500 in 2022, according to the Game Industry Layoffs Project, which tracks game developer and publisher job losses globally. Layoffs have hit studios ranging in size from tiny independent game publishers to titans of the industry like Fortnite maker Epic Games, which laid off 830 employees in September 2023, Microsoft, which cut 1,900 employees at Activision Blizzard and Xbox in January, and Sony, which announced it in February was laying off 900 people globally across its studios, primarily aiming at the UK, might I add.
Yes, just like pack the shit and get out the door.
Yeah,
Good
that was
luck.
horrific. The trend is only accelerating with 2,000 with yeah, with 2,000 games industry professionals losing their jobs in January, a 5 times increase over the year over year, according to the layoff tracker.
Bro just read February as January.
Did I? Oh dear God, I did.
You'll
Delightful.
you'll hear it later when you go back and read.
Yeah, I'm so proud of myself.
so confused.
What's gone on there?
I think an ad just disappeared and
Yeah, it
joined
did.
two paragraphs together.
In addition to the continuing layoffs, a recent resurgence of anti-work ideology that sparked the Gamergate controversy and harassment campaign 10 years ago has further dispirited many who have worked to increase diversity and safety in the gaming industry. Might I add, this is regarding development, but what you're mentioning here, Guardian, wasn't actually against developers. Gamergate, and subsequently what's currently going on, is nothing to do with developers. No, not at all. Gamergate was actually against journalists. Surprisingly. It's almost as though the journalists want you to think otherwise. It's a constant in the industry, said Melina, who also works for the diversity consultant in gaming. I think in the years since Gamergate emerged, here we go again, people did not want to talk about it, but that doesn't make it go away. Citing these and other grievances, Carol Shaw, former Epic Games producer, and Scott John Segal, Fortnite festival designer, organised a collective primal scream in the park across from the Moscone Centre where GDC was taking place. The games industry is falling apart around us, and we're all flocking to San Francisco for a week to pretend like this is fine, the organisers said on an event page for the Scream, which dozens of game industry members joined. Let's take a minute where we all stop pretending and express just how it feels to be a game developer in 2024. Let's see. This is going to be deafening.
Why?
They literally just screamed. Okay.
I'm so confused.
Same.
I don't get what this accomplishes.
Honestly, nothing.
Other than them needing some soothers afterwards, you know?
Yeah, honestly, mate, it's for press. That's as sad as it is to say. That is 99.9% likely the reason. For press reasons, they can get heard in the media, and the media will publish it like it's nobody's business. And yeah, then more people hear about it. It's not going to change anything, as sad as it is, but this is what happens. More people need support right now. While the GDC attendees describe a pressure to have a good time despite the dire environment at large, organisers of GDC opted to face the issue head on, catering this year's programming to unemployment and layoffs, said Stephanie Hawkins, GDC's event director. Okay. With the industry shifting and all the layoffs, I think people more than ever need support right now, she said. Bringing people together has been the most important priority for us. To that end, GDC provided lower cost tickets to out of work attendees and created job boards for employers and those seeking work. Okay, it basically became a job fair. Organised.
Like it.
It does, doesn't it? Organisers programmed speed networking events and increased the number of lounges and communal seating spaces to allow people to naturally meet one another. It launched a Travel Together program that connects attendees staying near one another so that they can speak while walking to events. 2 years ago, well, actually, 2 to 4 years ago, that would have been illegal. Like, just straight up, we weren't allowed near people a couple of years ago. What? Okay. Hawkins, who has been the GDC event director since 2021, so you should know better, Hawkins. Dreadful behaviour. Said the existential moment in gaming has also prompted organisers to implement a retrospective theme at this year's conference. The expo floor featured a booth from the Oakland-based Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment, where attendees could play refurbished classic games on vintage systems, and GDC hosted a number of post-mortem panels reflecting on classic games like Karateka, released in 1984, and Chapter 1 of The Elder Scrolls, released in 1994.
Elder Scrolls.
I know, right? We wanted to celebrate and honour the legacy of the gaming industry and reflect on how we got here as we look to the future, she said. Bringing people together has been the most important priority for us. That's just a repeat of earlier. AI is a big consideration. Here we go again with the AI. Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on in this article anymore, man.
You're not alone.
I feel like they started with screaming, went to a job fair, and now we're talking about AI, and I'm not not sure what all this has to do with each other.
From what I can gather, they had a screaming match because of the layoffs.
Screaming match, who won?
That's what I'm calling it. It's become a job fair because of the layoffs, and they're blaming AI for the layoffs. That's what I'm gathering. Oh dear God. Can we take a break from AI for like 5 minutes? For 1 week. 1 week. That's all I want.
The main thing I remember about AI is pizza.
Yeah. The future in the gaming industry. Dear God, thinking about it, that's like episode 4, 5 or something. We're on episode 60. That was 56 episodes ago.
It was an entire year ago.
I know. What the fuck? The future in the gaming industry, as with most aspects of technology in recent years, is steeped in discussion of artificial intelligence and its potential impacts. A survey released by GDC in January found that 84% of respondents, primarily those working in games industry, said they were somewhat or very concerned about the ethics of using generative AI. Okay, so now we're arguing ethics against a computer.
Yeah, AI can't have ethics, can it? Not yet, anyway. Unless
AI itself, no. The people who use AI, depending on what they use it for, yes.
Yeah,
it's like technically
the AI.
Yeah.
On its own.
It's like technically we'd technically be doing something unethical, I guess, with our YouTube channel because we use AI for generating thumbnails. Which technically, if they want to make the same argument, they're more than welcome to try it anyways. That could instead be done by someone who has a professional, like arts degree or whatever, or has a career in that sort of thing. But I use it because I don't have really the money to afford to pay someone to do that, and mine aren't very good. The AI is the better option for me.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. It's on the scale of a large company, yes, I understand it because you've got employees that could do that.
Yeah.
And this is just a way around employees.
They have the money to afford paying an employee to do that.
That's the thing. They're trying to save money by getting AI to do it. Those concerns were reflected at the conference, with most AI-focused panels at GDC reaching capacity, as developers, investors, and other industry experts waited in lines, snaking around the conference center to grab a seat. Outside a panel called the AI Revolution, featuring speakers from EA Games and Roblox, Kyle Gordon, a Sony employee who works with PlayStation, said he is cautiously optimistic about applications of AI in gaming. Why is that always the statement when people talk about AI? I'm cautiously optimistic. Are you optimistic or are you not? Like, come on, pick one.
They can't decide.
No, they cannot. I'm starting to get fed up with it. AI is a big consideration. Things are changing really fast. I'm interested in how we can integrate this technology into developing tools to get costs down and reduce some of the timelines for release. I'm going to put something across here, Will, and you tell me if you agree or disagree, whatever. So, my idea of how to use AI effectively in gaming without cutting jobs. I think this would be relatively simple. The amount of people that struggle on one section, or it would take them a lot longer, get them to utilize AI to assist them with their job, to knock timeline down, saves
Yeah,
them time,
I wouldn't
speeds
have
up project.
I wouldn't have the AI do the job. I would use the AI as if it's another person who's like bringing more ideas to the table, and you
Yeah,
can go off of those ideas and grow them into something larger, alter them slightly where needed.
exactly. You could utilize the AI to assist you with your job. You do not need it to be taking over the job. And that's
No.
something I think both industry and employees both need to look at together. Because the industry needs to stop looking at it as a solve all problems and save us loads of money. And the employees need to stop looking at it as, oh, it's going to take all my jobs. I can't do anything. We can't work. We're not going to be able to. AI is going to do it all. AI needs someone to overlook it, to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, to work with it, to refine it. Who better to do that than the people who already do the job? Just, just, just genuine thoughts here. Like, it's not going to be an instant. Oh yeah, now it's got your job. Bye, go away. If that was the case, I'd be out of a job. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Thinking about it, that there's only so much you can train AI to respond to, and yes, it could technically eventually respond to everything, but dear God, I don't think it could handle being nice to some people that I have to be nice to. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it wouldn't really do that with anyone. It would just be blunt about things all the time because at the end of the day, it's AI. It doesn't have emotion.
Yeah, unless I'm the one training it. Every other word would be a
No,
swear word.
no. Then it has motion rather than emotion, and that's motion to kill.
Yeah, I mean, you say that like it's a bad thing.
Trying to
Hawkins,
give us a good look here, Rory.
that's a good look. Hawkins, the GDC organizer, stated that the conference's research showed that more independent developers than larger studios were using AI tools, in part because it allows them to accomplish more with fewer resources. Of course, that's how it should be utilized. They have less people, they have less money, they have less tools. How better to utilize it than like that? It just makes sense. Potential applications of AI to ease the workload for developers has been a topic of discussion amid years of concern over crunch culture in gaming. This is exactly what we're on about, though, to ease the workload, not to take it over. The idea that workers are expected to take on intense and often unpaid overtime to push a game out ahead of launch. Some argue that AI could automate the more tedious aspects of development, while others raise concerns about creative ownership, an issue across industries as AI's applications have expanded in recent years. It's difficult to do, but we make sure we only use clean data and data that we have license to use. Director of AI research at Unity Games said during the panel on AI in gaming, game creators have a responsibility to do this because we have a lot of artists would worry about whether their work is going to feed generative models with good reason. At the end of the day, yeah, they don't want to lose what they own, any of that sort of stuff. I genuinely think, though, this is going to turn out a bit like the Writers Guild to do with movies and TV shows recently, where a lot of it's going to be a lot of people starting to get worried because they're using AI to write scripts and stuff, which is messing with the writers. I think that's what a lot of people are worried about at the moment. But yeah, I'm just going to skip this last paragraph. If you really want to read it, the link's at the top of the screen, has been the entire time. It's just repeating itself a lot, and to be honest, it's jumping in ways that I'm struggling to follow at this point.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the Microsoft one, because dear God, this is a lot shorter. I can deal with
Is it
this.
just
I can
no
cope.
streaming matches though? That's a disappointment.
We can have a screaming match if you want.
God no.
Yeah, that'd be a bit loud.
We would be here for like 10 hours, man.
We
Minimum.
would. It'd be the longest episode we've ever recorded. Microsoft is on a quest for artificial intelligence, experts has revealed by a recent job posting. The company is hiring for the position of Senior Director Applied Sciences Gaming AI, signaling its plan to incorporate AI into gaming. The successful candidate will lead a team that develops advanced learning and foundational models to cater to gaming requirements and jointly devise new gaming experiences. So this is just a job role. This wasn't even. Oh yeah, that kind of actually makes a bit more sense. Okay. Company's plans: enhancing gaming experience through AI and ML integration. Microsoft's job listing hints at new player experiences, suggesting the potential to incorporate AI into some upcoming games. Although specifics of these plans remain undisclosed, it's evident that Microsoft intends to utilize AI and machine learning to craft next generation platforms and gaming experiences. This might include developing AI driven non playable characters, NPCs, or generating dynamic content for gamers, broadening AI usage across Microsoft's game studios. The job posting also refers to collaboration with teams across game studios, implying Microsoft's plan to deploy AI throughout all its game studios. This includes Activision Blizzard, a recent addition to Microsoft's portfolio. Therefore, those intrigued by the use of AI in video games should keep a close eye on things progressing within studios under Microsoft's wing. I think it'll be interesting to see how they utilize it, and I think it'll be a very interesting use case for future. Because if Microsoft can do it well, that's going to be taken as a use case of why AI can be used and how it should be used. If they don't, it's going to be a use case about why it should be avoided at all cost.
See, what I want to see done with AI is, do you remember that mod that came out for Skyrim with the AI for the follower that
Yeah,
you could
the
talk to?
follower that you can
Yeah,
talk to and she'll respond to you.
I want I want to see stuff like that done for all the NPCs so that they have a broader range of dialogue, because majority of NPCs in games you hear the same couple of voice lines and that's it. And maybe if you like meet certain requirements or have gotten to certain stage in the game, there's one or two added or they've changed a little bit or something like that. But it becomes very stale, and like unless they're an essential NPC, you breeze past them and don't care at all.
Yeah.
But there's no like random interactions. There's nothing pointed out. There's no like you see them doing something different, or as you go past you hear them say something completely out of the blue. It's just always you as you're running past, you hear the same voice line, you blank it out, and you never go to that character again unless for some reason you have to deliver an item for a quest.
So yeah, I kind of agree with this because I can just imagine, how I'm on Discord pretty much every day.
Yeah.
If I was on Discord talking to someone and I was walking past a character and all of a sudden it just started screaming at me about what I just said, I think I'd break down laughing. Because some of the conversations I have, according to one of my friends, he said this to me now about 3 or 4 times. Um, he just started turning around to me and going, "You know, Rory, some of the things you say should be put on t-shirts because they're just so out of the blue, they make no sense. And I can't even remember roughly what I was saying. I think I was talking about some enemy I was fighting in a game. And I just went, "Come on, children, time to get stabbed." And he went, "T-shirt material." Oh, okay.
I think if you were playing a game with the AI that I just described, you would instantly have whatever kind of authorities there are in the game after you.
Yeah, but you tell me that would not be an hilarious scene to see. You're just talking, not thinking about it, all of a sudden, oh shit, now there's like 7 guards on my ass. Lovely. Anyways, Grumpy Gran, 75, global Fortnite gaming sensation. It's crazy how this is becoming more and more prevalent, but I'm so happy to see it.
Yeah, by the time we're this age, it's just the trend's gonna have passed and gone.
Perfect, we can just do his own thing without being questioned. So, a 75-year-old. I love these short articles, man, they're great. A 75-year-old Scottish grandmother has been playing has become a video gaming sensation after teaming up with one of the world's most famous Fortnite players. Interesting. Kath Bowie, aka Grumpy Gran 1948, of course, using their year of birth at the end of their username. Such a common one. Well, I work in IT. I see this stuff all the time. It's either usernames or passwords that do it. Has been hooked on Fortnite since being introduced to it by her grandson. She spends up to 6 hours a day playing online, where her skills and hilarious commentary were spotted by a US YouTuber, Cypher PK. Their first duo racked up more than 500,000 views, and Grumpy Gran 1948 from Moray now has a squad of thousands of devoted fans all over the world. The fact that a major YouTuber found her, thought she was that amusing, and went, "Yeah, screw it, let's record together. Let's have a good
How
laugh."
pissed would you be though that it took to you got the 75 years old to become famous on YouTube and you missed out on all the good times, spending all the money on God knows what?
Yeah, like about 10 years ago, you're doing a lot better off. But hey, good on her. It's good to see the more people around that age group jumping into games. It really is. Why buying retro games? Why buying retro gaming is bigger than ever? That's not me, is it? That is actually writ wrong. I need to confirm. Why buying retro gaming?
With the English language, Rory, I don't know anymore.
Oh, that's fair. It's bigger than ever. Games should be physical. I disagree with that.
Tell that to VR.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. I understand the want and need for physical games, and I can understand why people want it. That's no issue. And I think people should have the right to choose between the two. But don't try and force me to go physical when I want to be digital. Then again, with Ubisoft fucking screaming every 2 months, just, oh yeah, you need to understand that you don't actually own the games. Okay, so piracy is not theft. If I don't own the game when I buy it from you digitally, then piracy cannot be theft. You gotta pick one, you can't choose them both. Digital games can't compete with the nostalgia of a Game Boy and Tetris as thousands flock to the retro haven at the London gaming market. As digital-only video games become more and more the norm, the London gaming market's retro-focused exchange offers an escape in the exact opposite direction. It showcases a community dedicated to keeping old console games alive, consoles, games, and accessories alive. And judging by last Sunday's event, the retro gaming is still very relevant to a lot of people. Of course it is. No one can tell me it's not. Of course it is. I mean, that VR game, MUVR, that we covered a couple of weeks ago, that's a clear case of it. Game Central spoke to vendors and buyers, and the common denominator was that today's games and consoles can't compete with the nostalgia they have for what they used to be. The first thing that was clear at the event held by Royal National Hotel in London was that it's almost too popular for its own good. Among a long line of gamers were queuing outside the hotel well before the 11 a.m. opening time, and once inside, the amount of personal space stood in direct contrast to the overwhelming number of the retro games and consoles on show. It's intimidating, there's a lot of people here, said Daniel Booth with a nervous chuckle, because we definitely care about that. He's a first time vendor at London Game Market, but knows exactly why events like this are so popular. I think it's very important. There's a big community around physical games that you can hold in your hands or see in your bedroom. Modern games are often downloaded, and there isn't that connection. But everyone here believes in the same thing, that games should be physical. Once again, I agree in both. I like having physical games for my retro systems, but digital, I can download it whenever. I mean, not to be funny, I can't go onto my library of like 900 games and then proceed to go, yeah, I wish I had these physical. Of course
Yeah,
I
I
bloody don't.
wouldn't want that.
No. Like, that would be insanity.
It's also a lot easier when you buy a game digitally and it turns out to be nothing what you expected or just not enjoyable whatsoever to return it. Whereas if you do that in real life, not only do you have to go out of your way just to get the game, but you then have to do it again just to return it.
Exactly. That it's a lot of extra steps. Don't get me wrong, we're not saying that you shouldn't want them physical. We're just saying, in our opinion, it's not good for us. It wouldn't
It's
be
it's
best.
it's a thing from a different era, essentially.
Yeah.
Like when we had those consoles and games were physical, it was awesome. It was one of the best things ever. The
Yeah.
terror of wiping a disc and hope because it didn't work and hoping it works the next time you put it in
100%.
was like a thing of its own. Whereas now it's like if we had our games physically, we wouldn't have space for a bed.
Yeah. No,
the
100%.
rooms the rooms would be filled top to bottom like towers of Jenga.
I'd have a bookshelf on every single wall, just
The
filled
wall
with
would be a
games.
bookshelf.
Yeah. It'd literally just be display cases for all my games. That'd be it.
It
Like,
would take up so much space.
yeah. Like many of the vendors we spoke to, Booth revealed that Pokemon still rules supreme among buyers as the Game Boy Classic taps into what's most important at a market like this one. I think nostalgia is the obvious appeal, but I also think it's a gateway to back to simpler times. Modern games are very different to more streamlined and focused games of the older times. I think a lot of people, along with the nostalgia and the memories, just really want to connect to that. Not being funny, I've re-downloaded Psychonauts and rebought it on Steam the other day. Reason is that game takes me back to that nostalgia every time I play it. And honestly, some days I had this discussion with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, but I'll ask your opinion of it, Will.
Mm.
Do you ever? I don't think you do, because I don't think you go back and play old games very often, do you?
Depends.
Okay, I'll ask you the question, then you can tell me what you think. Do you ever feel that older games were more challenging than modern ones?
Well, they were more raw, if that makes sense. Like now
Expand.
you have so many options, so many routes to take, so many paths you can go through in modern day games. There's so many different options you can choose and everything. Whereas with older games, if you came to a difficult stage, there was no way around that whatsoever. You couldn't take a pacifist route or a stealth route. You had to go through that part of the game, no
Yeah,
matter what. The entire game could be an absolute piece of cake, except for that one part, and that one part could completely stop you from progressing whatsoever, and there was no way around it other than beating it.
Getting good. The old Dark Soul reference. But no, I've started to notice it. Like, if I go back and play some of these older games, sometimes I can get stuck for a bit. And
I
when I
mean,
was
if you want
younger,
a perfect example, look at the likes of the RTS strategy games, where you had brutal option opponents that would be given advantages that weren't possible to acquire in the game because it's
yeah,
how they made the AI, and they were near impossible to beat.
yeah. Or one of my favourites, look back at Crash. It's a platformer, but you tell me you've never, if you ever played Crash, that you never get like stuck on particular levels for a bit of time, and it'd make you want to pull your bloody hair out.
Not sure if I had that much issue with Crash Bandicoot.
Love those games.
There was I cannot remember the name of the game, but there was one game I used to play when I was younger. I barely remember it. I remember it's just the most confusing game ever. It made no sense why the game existed. The precipices of the game, the actual like concept of the game made no sense.
Sounds
It was
fun.
just there, and it was just infuriating to play because you would just constantly like slip off the edge of the map or just bounce off of something and be completely out of your control where you landed, and it would typically be again off the map.
Sounds
Uh,
like good fun.
That's what I'm saying. Like with games these days, you don't have that anymore. You have ways to save yourself in
Yeah,
situations like that. Like you have some special move that you can dash to the side as you're about to fall off the map and land back on the map.
yeah, exactly.
Like
William,
you've so much more leniency when it comes to games these days with helping you and assisting you not die.
yeah, 100% you do. William Scott, who's been a seller at similar events for about 10 years, was at the London Game Market helping his friend downscale his retro gaming collection. He said they could make a couple thousand at an event like this, and that the old Game Boy handhelds at the 1989 Mega Drive console were consoles are among buyers' favourites. At this particular stall, the most valuable items were a £500 Monster Hunter Stories amiibo figure, top left in the above picture. I have no idea.
Why would you pay that much for a figure?
I'm not even going into that one. Which was only produced for 2 weeks in Japan, and the game Snatcher on the 1991 Mega CD for £700 disc in front of the Sega Mega System on the top left. So that one there. Sellers usually don't bring their most prized possessions along to an event like this, but one vendor claimed he had the rarest item in the room, a PC Engine LT console only released in Japan in 1991, which he priced for £3,500. Dear God. Retro gaming doesn't have to be that hardcore, however, as looking around you could find anything from an Atari 2600 consoles to PlayStation 1 through 4 and the first Xbox up to 360, with countless games for each format. There are also every version of the Game Boy and various Nintendo consoles, as well as Pokemon and Magic the Gathering trading cards, and a surprising amount of crochet of popular video game and anime characters. We
All
bought a
right.
Pokeball and Electrode. Fair enough. This is just for this is that nostalgia buyers are looking for, and we even overheard someone saying they bought a £3 PlayStation 2 game just because they liked the cover art when they were young. One browser, Beth Anderson, was looking to reclaim her collection from when she was younger to relive those PlayStation and SNES memories again at an increasingly digital age. Games now move more into digital only, and we don't own things anymore. And it's really nice to have something on a shelf. It's like a tyranny of choice with the online stuff, that you have everything that you could ever want to play. It's nice to be here in real life next to people rather than online. There's a really nice community of retro gamers, and this is a chance to get together and see friends too. It's really important. Fair answer. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that does not look like an enjoyable scene.
No, I would avoid it like the plague.
I think I would start doing the actions I was doing when we were playing Climbey.
Jump, jump, climb, climb.
I was more thinking just flinging my arms around
Yeah, that too.
the same way that I was in the game.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Hoi Nugen was on a mission to finally fulfill his dream of getting his hands on an original Game Boy with Tetris. When I was a kid, I wanted to get a Game Boy, but my parents never got me one, so I thought now that I'm older and I can afford one, I can buy one without any bad conscience or guilt, he said, and added on that he too appreciates the promise of simpler times. Modern games are great, but they're very complex, like Baldur's Gate 3. You have to spend hours and hours and hours to play those games, whereas something like Tetris, you can pick up and play it. Tutorials for newer games last longer than some of the older games. I can't spend 2 hours learning how to basically do a run and jump off of a wall. Who the fuck plays games with 2 hour tutorials?
Who plays the tutorial, man?
I'm not being funny. If you're bad at games to the point where the tutorial takes you 2 hours to complete, you should probably find a new hobby. That might sound harsh, but come on. It's a good thing that there are 3 of these events in London each year, and even more around the UK, as 2 hours after opening and the queue outside still hadn't shrunk. Judging by the amount of gaming history that was on sale and the overwhelming enthusiasm of attendees, retro gaming's promise of a simpler entertainment has a lot of appeal in today's digital age. Much of that may be spearheaded by nostalgia, but that's far from the only factor, as gamers look for an alternative to the bloat and grind of modern titles. Not all modern games are like that. Take a look at the indie market, get back to me, Game Central. And finally, our final topic of the day. Dragon's Dogma 2 is reportedly has performance issues on PC. Now, the reason I want to discuss this is because I'd heard about what's going on with the Steam Deck version of this game. And basically, what's happening is they realised, oh, it's not going to run great. And all the CPU performance is basically based around NPCs. They load like individual NPCs and what they're doing in their own time constantly. So players came up with an idea. What's the best way to basically cut the performance down if it's all about NPCs?
Start killing them.
Yes, exactly. So players who wanted to play it and get decent frames started going on purges. So now
Sounds
they're
good.
wanting. That's what I thought. Just absolutely annihilate the entire place. It's great. So people are now trying to find who the important and essential NPCs are that you shouldn't kill, because any NPC you kill in that game will permanently be dead. Sounds like
So
good
like
fun in my
Skyrim, do
opinion.
you just have a dead room that you can teleport to and revive them?
I don't know. It's a good question
Console
though.
commands are great, man.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah, that they are. Anticipation for Dragon's Dogma 2 is high, but PC players may face frame rate issues at launch. Capcom acknowledges the problem and is working on a solution to improve the game's performance, and reports suggest that the frame rate drops are due to high CPU usage in areas with numerous NPCs. Recent reports claim that Dragon's Dogma 2 has frame rate issues when playing on PC, and Capcom is aware of the problem. With only a few days remaining until the game's release, the team behind the game hopes to fix the situation quickly. Try saying Dragon's Dogma 2 while drunk 5 times fast. I can barely say it while sober. The first Dragon's Dogma game was released over 10 years ago in 2012, so anticipation for the upcoming sequel is high, and as a fun way to get many fans excited, the character creator for Dragon's Dogma 2 was made available ahead of the game's release, so gamers could get a feel for what the RPG has in store. The early reveal of the character creator has heightened the excitement of many fans who have been eagerly awaiting the arrival of this sequel. Although the character creator has proven to be quite impressive, reports ahead of the game's launch suggest that the game may have some issues when running on PC. Dear God. Thanks to the detailed character creator in Dragon's Dogma 2, a Game of Thrones fan recreates the likeness of Arya Stark. Dragon's Dogma 2 is. I was say, what the hell's the point in that bit? Okay, whatever. Dragon's Dogma 2 is having frame rate problems on PC and Capcom. Didn't I just read that? Up here. Learn to write articles!
Yeah,
Right.
having some issues. We're having some technical issues with our Rory. Can you please stand by?
Yeah. Technical
Need to
issues
hit
with
him over
me.
the head a few times and knock some things back into place.
Yeah, where's that mallet I keep nearby? Capcom has
I was just gonna
addressed.
use the wall.
Oh, that works too. It's good for a good night's sleep.
I don't want to damage the mallet, man.
No, that's fair. Capcom has addressed concerns about these frame rate problems, claiming that the cause is probably due to the number of NPCs in a given area. Following a query from IGN, Capcom stated that the level of content within certain areas causes frame rates to drop, and some of these dips are reported by early players to fall around 30 to 40 FPS, making the performance quite inconsistent. A spokesperson from Capcom stated, in certain situations where numerous characters appear simultaneously, the CPU usage can be very high and may affect the frame rate. The team behind the game is looking into solutions that may improve the game's performance in the future, but a specific time frame was not given. Uh, with the game set to have exciting gameplay, frame rate issues could hinder a player's experience. That's the same with any game. In certain situations where numerous characters that's repeating again. If frame rate issues become a significant problem for gamers who choose to play the game on PC, Capcom will hopefully be swift in finding a solution that makes the frame rate better and more
Rory,
consistent. Yes.
has this game been released for 2 days?
Yes.
There are
You want
so many transactions for it.
transactions?
Just go to Steam and search Dragon's Dogma. I was just doing a little price comparison from the first game when it was released. I was gonna like see if it was
Ooh,
like
them
if it was
reviews.
unreasonable. Yeah, it's not great. Just but on the search page though, before you even go on to it, have you just look at the results?
Okay.
Just Dragon's Dogma is all I searched.
Premium currency.
Yeah, but go up and look at the wake stones. Now just read the top one.
Restore the dead to life.
Yeah, in brackets A. Go down one. In brackets B. E. For
What?
some reason, I don't know. I don't know.
What the fuck?
But there's just so many.
I like all the mostly negative reviews on them all as well. Wait, warp location marker is a DLC.
For 250.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the reviews. So it's a mixed with 49% positive. The game itself is fantastic, but I cannot recommend it given the huge performance issues. Wait and see if they fix it before buying.
Yeah, I'd say most of the negative is going to be performance. Because honestly, the
So
little
you're at a
gameplay
50%
snippet,
sale.
the little gameplay snippet up above makes the game look really cool. Not the actual videos, but like when you scroll down a bit, you get like the little GIF basically.
Yeah.
It honestly looks really cool.
So I've just read something here. And they had to add Denuvo. As mentioned, the
What?
performance is very bad, and while testing different Proton versions, got locked out of my account because that crap can't identify when you are changing compatibility layers versions versus having many computers. Denuvo is a piece of garbage.
Yeah, so it's the same issue that I'm having with 7 Days to Die, where it's not even utilizing your components. He's saying there it didn't go further than 40% on his
Yeah.
CPU, and GPU is lower than 60.
It's $70 to $80 single player RPG that only allows for one save file
What?
and no means to delete it in game and start a new one. What the fudge packing frick? Forget the BS selling in game currency for a single player game. Forget the
Wait,
unusable PC port that's pretty much an expectation of a Japanese game at this point. You thought it was a good idea to make it so a single player game has a farmable currency that you can buy, and you expect people not to see that you will reduce the in-game drops later and force people to buy. We aren't stupid. You can make these drop rates so rare with a tiny micro patch and never say a word. Then to nail the coffin shut, you slap on Denuvo, a CPU crunching chit chow, on top of a game that already has a completely unusable CPU bottleneck. You did that after all the other Capcom games that used Denuvo haven't worked and the pirated versions were the best versions of the game. It's scummy and the last time I ever buy from Capcom. Insanely disappointed and disgusted. I have
Jesus
never in my
Christ.
life heard the term a CPU crunching chit chow. That is my
So,
favorite term.
is it fair to say that the price of this game was also reduced because it's £54 base game right now, whereas they're saying it was 70 to $80?
Let's take a look, shall we? Because what I can probably do.
Have you seen that DLC bundle, by the way? The amount of them in that
New.
one.
Oh dear God. Camping gear.
21 DLC options.
A harpy lure.
A Harpy Lure item for
Heartfelt
£89. A
pendant.
thoughtful gift for 170.
You're telling
Change
me
pawn inclinations.
Art of Metamorphosis character editor. So this is effectively
Oh,
just a bunch of
Rory,
DLC for in-game items. Yeah?
Rory, you pay 170 to obtain an item which will change your pawn's inclination once to a random one. These powdered rift crystals can be used by your main pawn while camping and burnt as incense.
No, so it is $70 in US.
That's crazy.
It's
I'm
actually
quickly
more to
checking.
buy in the US than it
There's
is in
one of
Canada.
them is mostly positive for the DLCs.
Hmm.
Everything is mostly negative. There's one that's negative. That one's
Well,
these ones don't have reviews.
shall we buy it in Chinese yuan?
What?
It costs us £38.20.
Okay.
We'll just buy it in Chinese yuan.
Sure it doesn't get locked to that region.
Sadly, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the
What?
the developer is playing the game, by the way.
Is he? How'd you
Okay, at
see
least
that
the
one?
music and sound collection is only 250. Normally those things are like 10 or 20 pound. That's why it's got fucking
Yeah.
positive reviews.
This is just insanity. Pure and utter insanity.
Well, this isn't the developer playing. This is pre-recorded footage. So
Yeah,
how are they streaming it?
it's always pre-recorded footage, mate. Don't worry about it.
No, no, but it's not even like
Oh,
they're playing through the game, they record it and they're putting up. It's just snippets and clips.
yeah, yeah. This is
Fuck
quite
me, dude.
common. So, our view on this game's already dropped quite high.
The problem is though, it actually look some of it looks like it could be quite cool.
Yeah, it's quite a fun game. Like I played the first, and that was really enjoyable. It seems like they've just basically improved graphics and stuff like that.
There's still like over 8,000 players in the first game. Like currently, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I bought it for like £2. It was phenomenal what I played. I'd definitely like to get this, but it's definitely a sale item at the moment.
Oh, without a doubt.
I still remember versing that little
The
bastard in the
first
first game.
game, its reviews are all very positive,
I
with
thoroughly enjoyed it.
2,000 recent reviews.
Yeah. If you want to like try out like a full-on RPG that was really, really enjoyable, the first one is just still damn good even today. Highly recommend it. But yeah, I think that's everything we wanted to cover. To be honest, I don't even think we have to finish that article. It covers everything perfectly.
Right, I feel like you've missed something,
What have I
and
missed?
I don't know how true it is,
Ooh,
but I saw something about Fallout 5.
when was this and where?
I just remember seeing something about it. If you search it out right now, actually, there's IGN's the top link for everything we know about Fallout 5. If you wanna,
I
we
got
can have
Tech
a
Radar,
quick nosy.
but I'll see.
That's just all my things what came up first, but whatever. Go on
IGN,
then.
here we go. Um, with Amazon's new Fallout TV show slated to hit Prime next month, longtime Fallout fans have already started to wonder what the next official entry will look like. Although it's still years away, Bethesda Game Studios have been very upfront about the fact that the game is in the pipeline and going as far to say it will be the studio's next major project after the release of The Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh,
With
okay, so
that,
we're not getting it for 15 years
yeah, exactly.
because we're
It's going to
waiting
be a
10
good
years on
15
Elder
years.
Scrolls 6.
10 years, aren't you be a bit generous? More like 20.
Well, if it's 20 years for Elder Scrolls 6, then how long are we waiting for Fallout 5? 25,
25.
30?
25, definitely. Which Bethesda game would you want to be released first? The Elder Scrolls 6, please. As much as I love Fallout, I do
This is
love my
it's
Elder
gonna be
Scrolls.
Fallout. People who prefer Fallout over Elder Scrolls are gonna be the ones reading this article. That's why it's gonna be higher.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, I love both of them. They're both completely different games.
Oh, they are.
They
Like
have they
night and day.
have like obviously because it's made by the same people. They're obviously like some things are very similar, like where there's movement. Well, movement for definite, other than a few select things. But
Yeah,
like it's a lot of stuff is very similar to each other in those games, and yet they're two completely different games.
that's why I love them so much.
Yeah.
It keeps what I'm enjoying about the like Bethesda games alive, but at the same time, it's completely different, and I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've covered everything now, unless you think I've forgotten anything.
Well, there was also the Stardew Valley update.
Oh yeah, do you want to
The
talk about that? Seeing as you've
one
played it.
point. Yeah, I've been playing it loads. Me and Sub started yet another world on the day of the update. We are already halfway through summer in year two.
This is their seventh world in about a week and a half.
Oh, it's I think it's more than seven, mate.
Seven I've been told of.
I'm not sure what number we're on to be honest. But I'm not starting again because we've got all of our skills to level 10, and I swear he has increased the XP required. But I'm not saying anything because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that does play it. But there's quite a lot of new stuff, and there's a few new end game things as well.
So well worth
Yeah,
returning to.
definitely, definitely.
That's good to
I'm
hear.
glad. I am glad that me and him started the new one instead of just continuing the one we had, even though we weren't even past the first year on that one. It was
Yeah,
still worth it just for the new things that there are.
good to hear. Um, I know that soon there's going to be a massive Room World update, which I'm quite excited for. You, if I'm right, you should be like a couple days out until you get your new game.
2 days.
2 days out till you get your new like RTS type game, which I'm sure you're happy about.
Gee, check their store page for it. No like pre-order option, so I don't know what the price is.
Probably
Which
gonna
is
drop straight into early access.
yeah, tad bit worrying though about that.
Yeah,
See
understandable.
what they're gonna charge.
Yeah. And what I'm going to ask while we're on here, Will, shall we
Uh-huh.
do a small live stream next weekend?
For climbing, you mean?
Yeah, for climbing.
Yeah, good day.
Just thinking that way, if we do it like on the weekend, we should be a bit more chilled out and not be as annihilated for the week ahead.
Yeah. Ideally on the Saturday.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We can do a pre-recording session and answer any questions that anyone may have.
Sure.
Sounds fantastic. Right. If that's everything, then I think we're done.
I think we are.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for watching again. If you have enjoyed, please feel free to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, please feel free to leave them in the description or even comment on our TikToks. We like seeing people's feedback. It's always good to see and have a bit of a discussion with people about. And please feel free to join our Discord where we do all our recordings and discuss some topics occasionally. It'd be great to see people in there. I think
Absolutely.
that's everything. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye for now, guys.
Have a good one, guys.